Hi, and today we are going to talk about our Zentangle cube and how to get that put together. What a Zentangle is a complicated design of patterns and values, and it's having something that is repeated over and over again. So what we're going to do with the cubes today is we are going to design a cube that has a little bit different pattern on each individual side. So what we're going to do is take a look at our blank pattern here that has all of 6 of the sides of our cube, and what we're going to do is start out with a pattern up here at the top, and we're going to make a flower that starts up here in the center. So we're going to start with a little bit of a circle, and then we're going to end up with 8 petals. So we're going to do 1 petal that's really big. We're going to do 1 petal that's really big on the opposite of that, and then we'll rotate this. We'll get a large petal on that side, and a large petal on that side, and then we'll do a small one in between each side. Alright, and then from here we're just going to go around and we're going to mimic this shape. So we're going to come around like this. We're going to make an outline that goes around, because we're just going to build off of this one pattern like this. Now what we're doing with this particular one today is we're going to make a pattern to where this one is different than this one here, which is different than here, which is different than here, which is one way to do it. Another way you can do it is you can have your shapes, your different sections combined into one big design. You can do it to where down the middle here it's really easy because they're all 4 connected together, and it's really easy to put those together. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can make it to where all 6 sides connect. Now when you go to do that, it's a little bit tricky because you have to have it cut out first, and when you go to cut that out, there's one that I've got that's already finished, because you need to make sure that this lines up with this side here. What you can do is use the edge, or use the corner rather, of your table. So this is a fake table I'm going to use here. And take this, I'm going to wrap this around. So that way I can look at it and I can say, alright, this all lines up here. I can take my pencil, I can draw this line here, draw this line here, and work my way through to make sure that this pattern goes over onto the next one. And then I can do that with each individual side. So that's just a little bit more of an extra step if you want it to be a little more complex. But with this, we're not doing that. So we're just going to come in and fill in the rest of the shapes around here. Now, I'm not going to talk through the whole thing, so I'll stop this and then show you one that's already finished. And then from there, we will go through and just build, because that's all you need to do with this is just build. Say alright, this shape's going to come here, have a shape like this, have a shape like that, come to a point, and then I can add my shapes in between and just build off of this. You can run it to where it goes all the way out to the edge where it doesn't touch. You can have that design go all the way up and touch that edge. Doesn't matter, totally up to you. But I'm going to stop here, and then when we come back, we'll go through and show you each of the individual finished ones, and then we will go from there. So now that my image is completely drawn out, what we're going to do is we're going to take an ultra fine point Sharpie like this here, and we are going to take a regular fine point Sharpie, and we're going to use these 2 tools to get everything filled in, get everything blacked out, so that way we can have our nice pattern here. You can see every place where I want it to be dark, I've gone and put a little black dot in there, so that way I know those things, especially when there's a complicated pattern, I know that those things are going to get finished out in black. So you can see in some of my other ones that I've got, where this is the line drawing here, you can see where I've got black dots here, I've got dots here, or I've got the finished version where you can see that those are the areas that were filled in that have the little black dots in there. Same thing with this one, where I've got my pattern here, where I've got a little black dot, that's what ends up being black over here on the final version of it. You want to be careful that when you do that, see how I've got lines here that run into the other shapes. So when I do that, I want to make sure that this shape is hollow so it doesn't actually change it, because it can get kind of dicey when you have two black shapes here where they come to touch. That ends up making one big one. So you want to try to avoid that if at all possible, but it's something just to keep in mind. Alright, so we're going to get started, get this filled in, and we will come back when we're all done with this. So we've got your drawing, your cube is all inked and it's completely blacked out. We've got it cut out, and when we cut it out, you want to make sure that you cut it on the outside edge of the black lines all the way around. Once you get it cut out, I'm going to go through on each of those lines and fold it over. So fold it, bring it back, take your tab, fold it, bring it back. You want to do this to go through everything, so that way you're not trying to make all the folds as you're trying to put it together, because it's just going to be really awkward to do and it's not going to work out well. So make sure everything's got a fold to it and that it'll move where it needs to be. Now, each of these tabs is numbered. So you want to find the tab that has the number 1 on it. That's the first one that you're going to do. And then when you go to do the next one, you find the tab that's got number 2 on it and do that one, and so on until you get all the way to the one that says last. Okay? So we're going to take this first one. It doesn't take a lot of glue. I'm just going to put a little bit on there. And then we're going to take this, we're going to fold it, we're going to get it to 90 degrees like this, and we're going to just let it sit and hold it. It's going to take a minute or so, but you want it to make sure that it stays, because you don't want to have to try and glue this back together when it's already in cube form, because it's not going to work. So try and get everything lined up real nice, and let it sit there and let it hold. You're not going to be able to glue this together really quick. If you got any extra that squeezes out, take your thumb or your finger, rub it off, and get rid of it there. Okay. Try not to get little crumbles on it like this. So take that and wipe that off. So I'm going to find number 2. We're going to do the same thing. Put a little bit of glue on it. I'm going to take that. I'm going to fold it in. And when we do this, you want to fold it first and make sure that everything is going to line up. So that way, if you need to, you can go in and trim little bits off of it. Because sometimes if you didn't get that corner cut just right, down here at the intersection where these come together, you have to go in and kind of trim a little bit off of that. So always take and make sure that the fold will work first, and that way it'll come together. Okay? So we're going to do this and work your way through so you get all the way to the end. When you get to one that says last, so it's going to be in cube shape like this. And then when you get to the one that says last, so you're going to glue 6 down, you're going to glue 5 down, you're going to leave this one popped up. When you do that, you're going to take one of these paper clips that has a piece of fishing line attached to it. You're going to take that, you're going to drop it inside of it, pull it over to the corner, and put some glue on that last one, and then push it together. Okay, and that way when it hangs, it'll hang up in a diagonal like this. But that only works if you do it one by one by one. Take your time with it, make sure that you do it right. All right.